Hello and welcome. It's so good to see you. Come on, pop a squat. Grab your beverage of choice. Today my beverage of choice is, as always, coffee. And let's chat about Jade City for a second because I really want to talk about it. Jade City is a fantasy novel by Fonda, who is one of my new favorite authors for several reasons. First of all, this fantasy book is not your typical medieval fantasy book. Win number one, I don't like medieval fantasy that much. It is like, I'm tired of it. I never really liked it that much, and I don't really care for it that much. So I really love some uniqueness, and she brings the uniqueness with this story. I mean, it's a mob boss story mixed with Kung Fu, and it makes me wish that Bruce Lee was alive so that he could play the father figure, Carl San. That would be amazing, except that it just literally can't happen. But what is gonna happen is that it is getting made into a TV show, which is freaking cool. Yes, I found out while I was about 3/4 of the way through with the book that Fonda Lee has signed a contract and it is going to become a TV show. Now, I am hella excited for that because, as I said, I really liked it, and it's one of the best fantasy books I've read in a little while. Granted, I don't read that much fantasy, I prefer sci-fi, so maybe that's why I like it so much, right? Because this book feels like the magic is a science. So the magic feels like a technology more than it feels like a magical superpower. It's almost as if she's giving us a lore for those old Kung Fu movies, you know, where people are jumping way too high and you're like, how is that even possible? Fonda Lee almost answers that question through the use of this stone called Jade. I mean, who saw that one coming? Not me. I mean, who would have thought? You know, actually, when I first heard the title, it made me think of Wizard of Oz, which can't be further from what this story is. This story has no correlation to that whatsoever. I think it's because Jade City, Emerald City, they're green cities, so they kind of melded in my mind. I don't know, did anyone else hear that at first? I think enough people have talked about how awesome the book is. There's very little to critique on it. I mean, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I can't really think of anything except maybe a little bit more time with the characters, but you know, that's what the whole second and third book is gonna be. But what I wanna talk about is it's getting to be a TV show, right? And I love watching adaptations. I love reading a book and watching it adapted into film, partially because that is my dream. I'm writing a sci-fi series, and my dream is to write the sci-fi series as a novel series and have it turned into a TV show. So that is my dream, and I'm a little obsessed with book to TV show adaptations, book to movie adaptations. Being an author and creating a story and having that story moved into the visual medium is something that I really value, and Jade City is a book that deserves to be a TV show. There were a couple things I wanted to talk about, so let me pull up my notes. With this book getting turned into a TV show, I have a couple of things that I personally am hoping for and praying for. We'll see if they happen, but I'm hoping for them. And we're gonna find out after it comes out. I'll do another little comparison and we'll see what's actually better and what's worse about the TV show, but these are my hopes and dreams for what will be in the TV show. First of all is the casting choices. This cast better be mostly Asian or I will lose my mind. Okay, you guys remember how Ghost in the Shell, one of the most classic animes of all time, was turned into a movie and the main character was played by Scarlett Johansson, even though it took place in Asia? No! That will not happen to this book. If this show is not a mostly Asian cast, I will be highly disappointed. But what's really cool about the way that she created it is that although it is very closely related to Chinese society, she has herself said that it is not one particular Asian culture that she's trying to emulate. It's just in general Eastern Asian culture. So what that means from a casting director standpoint is they can literally choose actors of any nationality so long as they are Eastern Asian and throw them together in the cast. What I would really love to see, and a personal dream of mine, and now I know that this might just be a pipe dream, but I really want to see Ka-lan played by Steven Yeun. Okay, Steven Yeun is exactly how I imagine Ka-lan, and their personalities, I mean, I'm thinking specifically the way that he portrays himself in The Walking Dead, but that more soft, but also able to be strong when the moment calls for it. He seems like the perfect man for the job, and I just hope that Steven Yeun reads this book and feels desire to play Ka-lan, because that would be perfect. Is he the right age? I really can't say. They're not super particularly clear about the age, but Ka-lan is around 40? Anyway, I digress. Casting must be Asian or I will lose my cojones. No, I won't lose my cojones. I will lose my mind if that happens. It better be an Asian cast, especially Eastern Asian. And Abyssinian, I don't know. Abyssinian, I feel like could be a little bit more mixed in the race because it just all over seems like a very Western, almost American-esque culture. They're highly militarized. They're using Jade for the military and for science and stuff rather than the way that it's used in the Asian or in the Jade city. So the Abyssinian people could be any race, I think, and it'd be fine, but the people on the island better be Eastern Asian. Another thing that I would really, really, really love to see is that the tone is kept. So for me, when I was reading it, there's this very dark, overcast tone to everything. Like, I can see the imagery and she explains it sometimes as being very sunny, beautiful, but there's this dark overtone to it. Not quite to the degree where it's like almost a green overcast of like a horror movie, like The Grudge or something. That's just my personal aesthetic. I'd love to see it a little bit dark and or muted, like the colors to be a little less vibrant, but maybe be extra vibrant when you get to be in the perspectives of someone who's wearing Jade. Then it becomes more vibrant. That would be really cool because it's going to be very hard to put the idea of perception into the video format because perception is awareness in the mind. And there's this really cool scene with one of the characters at the end where he describes exactly what the perception is like. And now he's wearing a lot of Jade. So it's like the perception turned up to like 5 million. And I don't know how that's going to correlate into film form. But I could imagine that if it is more muted through most of the story and when their people are wearing Jade, the colors like become illuminated and maybe like some zooms, people breathing into the skeleton shape. Like if there were a lot of like switches like that, that would be really cool. The perception is one of the things I'm a little worried about how that's going to come across in a movie format, but I think that it can be done. So we'll see. If you guys are the ones making the movie, you know, I would totally love to consult with you. I definitely have credentials. I have this channel. I would love to consult. If you want that, just hit me up. Let's do it. They're not coming. Probably not even watching it, but if you are watching it, hi, thanks for watching, and I'm really excited to see what you come up with. The last thing that is super important to me and that I care a lot about, and if this gets messed up, I will be upset, is I honestly don't know how much can be improved from the story to video format. Because, you know, a lot of times we have to adjust the story in order to fit a video medium because stories are often written from the perspective of the head and videos are, you know, you see it. So what I'd really like is for the story to stay very close because one of the things when I was reading the story is that it was hyper visual. Like I could imagine every scene perfectly. It even had like, it was as if she almost wrote in the pans of the camera and the different angles and you can see it all. And I saw it as a movie. This doesn't always happen, by the way. Not all books come off like movies. Like Foundation did not come off as a movie at all. It was quite difficult to visualize the foundation compared to Jade City, where it literally felt as if she wrote it with the intention of it becoming a live action adaptation. Like she was planning for that, which if you were Fonda Lee, I look up to you even more because you are doing exactly what I hope to do one day. I honestly don't know what could be improved if you change what happened in the story to make it into a TV, but then again, I don't really write for TV. I'd be interested to see how much the writer of the script is going to change the actual story. I'm sure there's some sort of script already out there. I mean, Fonda Lee had to agree to making this a TV show, but it's possible maybe he only made a pilot episode script, so we'll see. Last thing, and I know I said the other thing was the last thing, but this is the actual last thing. I'm curious where they're going to stop season 1, because this book series isn't going to be long, right? And she's only finished 2, she's working on the 3rd. How long is this TV show going to be? Are they going to make it a quick 3 and done, like they just do each of the books? They just do each of the books as a season and then just stop? Or are they going to split book 1 into 2 seasons? I feel like there is one spot, which I can't say without spoilers, but there is one spot about halfway through, maybe about a little bit more than half, that I think would be a perfect cliffhanger to leave the series on. So if book 1 became split into 2 TV seasons, I think that would work incredibly well. There is an exact spot where that could be done. Okay, my ideal TV show is 8 episodes that are an hour long. That is a perfect amount. And if you split Jade City into 2 parts, I think you could absolutely have 8 hours worth of film in the first half of the book. Granted, is that what they're gonna do? I don't know. I haven't talked to them. I haven't read anything about it. I'd be curious. I don't think there's that much out there because they just started doing this. But I wanted to release my hopes and my dreams for this in the vain desire that it will somehow have an effect over how they actually create it. So if you know the producers or maybe have a big platform, share this so they can see this so we can make sure that it comes out good. All right, the fans do have some power. Like, remember what happened to Sonic? Do you remember what happened to Sonic? We as the viewers have the power to impact stories before they are produced. So now is our time to speak out and say exactly what we want from Jade City before it becomes completely filmed and it's too late for them to fix things, all right? It is time to put our thoughts out there and share what we care about. And I have just shared mine. What do you care about? Have you read it? Are you gonna read it now? I highly recommend it. All right, so for those of you who follow me for my other channel, which is all about MBTI, Fonda Lee uses MBTI for her characters.
So I'm just trying to write characters that feel as real as possible. I've really thought about who they are. And, I go down the whole path of analyzing their personalities and doing Myers-Briggs tests on them and stuff until I feel like I really understand their motivation.
So talk about an author who is perfect for me in every single way. Anyway, I digress. If you've read the book, let me know. What do you hope to see in the TV show? And if you haven't read the book, definitely do, and then come back and let me know. And whatever it is, just thanks for watching. Go ahead and like and subscribe to support me and my channel, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!